Welcome back to Self Revelations. It's your boy B-Dab.
And I am Juan Moreno.
And my brother Wanavelli, man. How's your mental? How's your 2 weeks been?
It's been good. Everything is starting to get stable, but still going through some challenges, like, going through understanding my anxieties, understanding, where I'm trying to take things, trial and error, taking things day by day, being patient with the results is one of the hardest things that I have. Is try to keep things in balance, keep things afloat. Like, I'm a person that I'm very patient, but then not patient. So I'm like, it's a weird thing to say. It's like, I heard this one thing where it's like, you want to be impatient with actions and patience with results. And so that's where I'm at right now in understanding my anxieties. Like, it's crazy to understand like anxiety is actually a real thing. Like, you actually, like 2 years ago, I had anxiety, but not the way I'm having it now. Like, to having panic attacks, to getting a panic attack at a movie theater to go watch, Spider-Man. Like, bro, like I really wanted to watch Spider-Man, and the first hour, like I was feeling that anxiety the whole time, like within my chest, but I was kind of distracting myself and trying to avoid it. And so I was like with my lady, hell, let's go watch a movie. And in a way, I guess, distracting myself. But then the sounds were heavy. I started feeling like numbness in my fingers. I got cold. It was like if, like a drip of water just landed in a pond, and it just created like this little wave frequency, and my whole body just got cold. And I just started feeling my chest, my chest, not my chest tighten, but like you felt like a sting to your chest. So at the time too, you don't even know, like, is this a heart attack? Is this anxiety, a panic attack? What is this? And you're so in your head when you have like a panic attack, at least for me, right? Like that's how I felt. And I couldn't even enjoy myself. So I ended up having to get out from the movie theater and, go home and relax and try to coast off little by little. That's why you see a lot of people have problems with like alcohol, pills, and food, because it does put you like in a sedated state where you're relaxed and calm. And that's why it's important, like people that work out or you do meditation, that puts you in that element of like fast heart rate, or get you in a calm state by doing exercising and stuff like that. Or if you eat food or alcohol, it does calm you down. So I'm trying to find my way of calming down in a healthy and balanced way, because I don't want to just rely on alcohol or rely on prescription pills or food. I want to find the best balance with me that's healthy long term. So when I think about how I'm doing mentally, I'm doing great. I'm like grateful that I get to breathe. I got a roof over my head, and I have food I could buy. I don't have to worry about the bill when the bill comes. So I'm pretty like good so far, but same time still challenging. But it's going.
Okay. I mean, that's good. But with the anxiety that you just talked about, having those symptoms, were those the only symptoms that you had, like the fingertips and feeling that cold chill in your heart, and like what else were you feeling at that time?
For me, I feel very, very cold. Like I just get goosebumps. It's weird. It could be in a warm area and I would get cold. Mm-hmm. It's interesting the way the body works, and the fight or flight that you get. I'll get zaps in my like certain parts of my body, like if somebody's pulling it or something, and obviously my heart starts to race, even though I'm not exercising or moving. I'm just sitting there, and you start to feel like your heart is racing, like you just ran a 4-minute mile.
Yeah. And
so I'm like, what the hell's going on? And you're kind of in this place of like a doom, like you don't know what's gonna happen. Is this it? Am I gonna die right here? Is this a heart attack? Am I having a stroke? You don't really even know. Like, you're so in your head of what's going on, and you're so distracted because of how you feel that you're stuck in your brain, and you can't even focus and watch a movie. So that's some of the things I was feeling. I noticed that everybody has like different symptoms, which is like interesting, the way the body works. Like, there's never really a one size fits all solution, but best thing I'm learning is to understand my anxiety. Where does it come from? Why? am I avoiding it? Am I distracting myself? You don't want to really face your anxiety, but you want to understand your anxiety. And that's the way I believe that through trial and error, you get to a good space where you develop a routine that can keep you enjoying life and not have you walk out in the fucking middle of a movie. Because I was so mad that I was hard on myself, and my lady was like, it's just a movie. Like, we could come back and watch it again. I was just like, well, I really wanted to watch the damn movie. So I was like, shit.
Yeah. That's tough because, yeah, the Spider-Man do go crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
but no, like she said, it was just a movie, bro. If you're feeling like that and you got to get back home, like to unwind however you unwind, like you got to go.
Yeah.
You feel me? You can't just try to thug it out.
I was trying to.
What's something that helps you, like if you have something that like a remedy that helps you with your anxiety when it hits like that, or when you're starting to feel your anxiety?
It's weird, but like having loose clothing. It's weird. I had the face mask around my neck and it was kind of tight, and I had like my sweater that was kind of tight. It felt, and I was literally just like letting loose. Like as when I was having anxiety, I just started like kind of like, like open up the collar.
Yeah.
And I started feeling better. Like you felt like, okay, like I could breathe, because you feel like you're not breathing. You feel like there's like an elephant on your chest, like something very heavy when you're having the anxiety. And one thing I learned over the weekend too, like I was, I don't know why I get it in January. So I have to look into that, why in January. Because I had this same feeling last year after I had got COVID that time. So interesting to see, like, okay, I'm having anxiety this time, and I'm analyzing myself. And then I noticed that I'll have this like consistent anxiety, like it'll be there just knocking like on my chest, just waiting to come out to panic, I feel. And then I noticed, like, when I ate food, a good amount of food, it started slowly going away, the food. And then when I started drinking the alcohol, then it just kind of vamps away, the feeling. But I still feel my chest, my heart rate is kind of still going, like, a little bit high. But it's like if I numbed myself and I just feel it naturally, I don't feel it as intense. So then right there, I'm like, I found that interesting, because you see a lot of people that overly consume food. They eat a lot throughout the day, obesity, people become, drug addicts, and you see a lot of people, overdo something. They overstimulate themselves because it gives them a place of comfort. And so I started analyzing. I'm like, oh, is that I see that now. I understand why people, a lot of Americans, not just Americans, but from what you see, like even family, friends, go towards the route of a lot of food or a lot of alcohol or a drug, or even working out. People work out, and you start to see, like, holy shit, like you're not that different than everybody else. Everybody else is human, but has different variables in their life and have different anxieties and how they cope. Everybody has a way of coping without maybe even realizing it. Yeah. Like everybody has a vice, or you could change your bad habit to a good habit, and you get relaxation from doing that certain, habit or hobby that you're doing, or drug or alcohol. So I noticed that alcohol was good for me, not like genuinely drinking. Like I have a good time. I like the feeling. Alcohol, I feel, is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just too much of anything, it becomes bad.
That's facts.
So I felt like, if I just drink a glass of whiskey, some good high quality whiskey at night, it's just one glass, and I feel good enough so I can sleep, then maybe that's not a bad thing, as long as I make sure I keep myself healthy still by working out, meditating, reading books, educating myself. That one glass of whiskey is not the worst.
So are you saying like a glass as in like half full? We talking about a shot of whiskey?
I would say a shot.
A shot.
Yeah,
okay,
a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
I was
question.
saying, you said a glass. I'm like,
it could be a big ass glass.
All right, my boy. Oh no, that's a lot of whiskey.
Yeah, it would just be for me, it's a shot,
yeah.
or maybe a shot and a half, but that's it, and that's all you need. Like especially with some good whiskey or a good drink. That's why you see a lot of people, like a glass of wine a day keeps the doctor away. Like it's crazy, but it's true. Like you even see talking to doctors and also educating yourself, what you see online and studies and research. You see that drinking alcohol is not a bad thing. Drinking alcohol in a moderate way could be healthy for your heart, because you're not causing strain when you're having anxiety or a panic attack. But everybody's different. Alcohol might not be your thing. Marijuana might be. CBD, CBDA, like all these other outlets that you can have to calm yourself is another way of doing it. For you, what keeps you calm?
I think the thing that really keeps me calm, I'd probably say, is the majority of things that I do is like stuff that I love.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it's in the realm of sports or if it's, physical fitness, I'm usually pretty calm.
With
like,
football
doing
and
those
like
things.
training and working out, does it raise your heart rate? Your heart rate? Like, are you aware? Like, oh shit, my heart's beating. Do you ever have to slow down? Like, oh shit.
No, I be turned. Like
Mhm.
in football and basketball, I be turned. I mean, football and
Is it conscious
and
though? Like
weight
when you're like
over.
in the middle of it, do you? Isn't that maybe? Sometimes it might not be a thought, right? Like your heart's just going. You're not
Yeah.
even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But you ever catch yourself like, oh shit, my heart's going a little bit too fast.
No, almost never. Like the only
Mm.
time I really feel like that is when I feel like I'm getting tired. Then I'm like, oh shit, like it's more of like my lungs for me, and I'll be like, damn, I feel like I can't. Like say I just ran like 5 back-to-back fades, and I'm running with a receiver, and I come back and I'm like, damn, I'm kind of winded a little bit. But other than that, no, I'm usually calm. Like I try to be as composed as possible, especially in that realm. Weight room wise, I be turned up. Like I be screaming, I be yelling, I be doing all types of shit. But that's just how I am in the weight room. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think there's like similarities with what goes on the football field and what goes on in life?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that, everything applies to the grind and everything applies to that process. So working on a team aspect, just being on the team in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
You fuck up on the team or you fuck up in your group, it affects the whole team. Same
Right.
sense. If you're the head of your household, right? You fuck up, it's going to affect your wife. It's going to affect your kids. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to work, it's not just not going to affect you. It's going to affect everybody.
Right.
Am I right? And I feel like it forces you to be accountable. It forces you to have, a certain level of perspective when it comes to things that's coming good to you and bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just, oh, something bad happened. Oh God, why me? You know what I'm saying? You got to have
Right.
perspective when it comes to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're not going to be happy that bad things happen to you, but you need to stay at that steady, how can I say this? That steady pace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Never get too high, never get too low.
It's like that natural flow you hear. There's like studies behind that too. Like you want to challenge yourself, but challenge yourself where it's not too hard, but you also want to challenge yourself where it's not too easy. So you want something that is still fun and challenging, but you can have a good flow and you feel good while you're going through the process. Because sometimes, let's say a person wants to like finally work out. They're a little bit maybe overweight, and they go sign up with a trainer, and the trainer makes them go through, horrific, workouts. Now, not horrific as in dangerous, but then like maybe putting
like
too much.
Way too much.
Too much, especially for a
Yeah.
person that maybe never really worked out in their life, never was really in a athletic field. But then you put them going through like different types of training, weight training, cardio all at the same time, compound workouts. And sometimes it's too much where then you kind of like push away that person that wanted to. They're like, this is exactly why I didn't want to do it. I'm not ready. I can't do this. Or you could kind of you walk them in, train them as they go, correlate everything towards them, give them the confidence that they need to be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why I feel like it's so important to reach that natural flow while challenging yourself, but still being able to build the confidence. I think confidence is where everything comes from. If you don't have confidence in something, it's going to be hard for you to do it.
Facts. That comes within yourself too. Having confidence. I'm sure you have confidence that you can do anything that you want to. And so do I. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I never thought about doing a podcast or starting a podcast, I had confidence that I could do it. It's just a matter of like, did it align with what I was doing? And it just so happened that it really did. But yeah, like that, the confidence is key, bro. And that's with everything.
What do you think stops people from achieving like their full potential? Now, full potential doesn't mean like, because a lot of people, you hear a lot of people that I wish I could, should have, this, right? This, I could have been this, I could look like that, I want to look like that, I want that car. What do you feel distracts or maybe doesn't help people achieve it? Like, what stops them? What do you feel?
And this is just my opinion, but I feel like it's a lot of listening to the noise, so to speak. They're listening to too much of other people. At the end of the day, what do you want to do? If what you're doing is gonna make you happy, is gonna lead you down a path of like, good mental health, and you're gonna be able to support yourself, like why not? Like, so you're having to choose between doing a job that you hate for the next 50 years or doing something you love for a little less money, but it doesn't feel like work. Come on now, like you gotta live your own life,
right?
You know what I mean? I'm not playing football because somebody else is telling me to do it. I'm playing football because I love to play football. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody had to tell me.
I think, like, I wonder why sometimes people are afraid of taking a risk, and a lot of it does involve outside noise that questions or critiques them, because everybody wants to be nice, everybody wants to be loved, and sometimes that's like the downfall. And the way our brains operate is to keep us in comfort and out from danger. So now we were back then worried about a tiger being in the bushes. Now we're worried about what our Uncle Bob is going to say and what cousin Jeanette is going to say about, us wanting to take a chance on a career that you feel fits you and what you really want to do, but instead you're working at Amazon because you're not willing to take the chance or the risk because you're afraid of what people are going to say.
Facts.
What do you feel keeps you motivated to keep pursuing a career in football?
One thing that keeps me going is, one, that I love football, and two, that in our area, I don't know if you know a lot about, like people getting out from our area. Not a lot of people get out from our area, and especially before me, I could probably count them on one hand. So getting out, first of all, playing Division I football alone, that's big for being in a small town like Manteca, where there's hardly even any recruiting. You know what I'm saying? Like now there people at Manteca High are getting recruited because they've built more of a foundation of that winning culture, and there's always been dogs at Manteca. There's always been dogs, and the coaching staff at Manteca has always been good. You know what I mean? But it's just now getting recognized, like, oh, they're producing guys. You know what I'm saying? These kids are amazing, right?
Right.
But I think that the main thing that keeps me pushing is to, one, see how far I can go, and two, see how far I can take something I love. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not only gonna help my life, right? It's gonna inspire somebody else, like maybe a kid that's in the same position as me, to be like, yo, he went to Manteca High, he went to MJC, and he went D1, and he played professional ball, and he played in the NFL, and he, you know what I'm saying, so forth and so on. You know what I mean? So I think that's the main aspect of it, is to inspire someone else, the next Brandon Dabney, and to see how far I can take it.
Well, that's good. What do you feel, if you were to think about a situation right now that you go back that has helped you become the person that you are in one aspect, what would it be? Now, it could be anything, right? It can be, this situation right here taught me discipline. This situation right here taught me to be more, relaxed, more trustworthy. This right here taught me teamwork. This right here taught me humility. What's one situation that taught you something?
Well, okay, one situation that did teach me, and there's a lot of things that teach you about yourself and about all those things, but I think failures teach you the most out of everything. But it was once when I was playing Pop Warner, when I was real young. I played for the Manteca Chargers, and we were in a game that we needed to win to go to playoffs, bro.
Right.
Now, mind you, this is probably the worst day of my life. Like, I'm being so serious. It was that bad.
Retrospect and look back. Like right now, right, it doesn't seem like it's back then. But then, like at that time, bro, at that age,
it was bad.
It's all you. Like that's all you. Everything's on you.
It was bad. I think this is what really like sparked something in me, because I was like, I do never want to let my team down like this ever again. So, on one of the possessions, they had fumbled some way, and I had jumped on the ball, So we got the ball back. We went down, scored. Now we're down 2. We make them go 3 and out. We have 3 minutes left to play. They punt the ball. They say poison, right? Now, in my head, I already got that dopamine from diving on the ball last time. Everybody slapped on my helmet, you know, that feeling, right? Like, damn, I did something good for the team.
Now, what is poison for people who don't know?
Get away from the ball as fast as you can. I don't care if it's coming right down on your head. Sprint to the sideline, right? Me being young, my first year playing, yada, yada, you know, I knew exactly what that meant.
Right.
I knew what it meant. It was nothing. It was no excuse. I went and tried to dive on the ball.
Yeah.
Dude dove on top of me, took the ball away from me.
Fuck.
They got the ball, kneeled it out.
Oh,
Didn't go to playoffs.
that's killer.
Now, mind you, this is I think it was JV. Yeah, it was junior varsity. And I got moved up. But I tried to
Be the
hero, so to speak. Yeah. Trying to play outside of what I'm supposed to do, you know, not following directions.
Right.
And I just remember sitting in the stands, just crying. Like, I cried that whole day. And my dad was just telling me, like, yeah, it's good. Like, people make mistakes, yada, yada. And, you know, I'm really glad my dad, you know, sat there and talked to me. You know, one of my old teammates, his name was Nick Gonzalez. He came and chopped it up with me, like, reassuring me, because I was our quarterback at the time, reassuring me, like, bro, like, you'll be good. Like, don't even trip. Like, but at the end of the day, that ended our season. You know what I'm saying? So that was like my moment to where I was like, yeah, I will never let down my team like this. And I didn't make any excuses. I took full accountability. I was like, yeah, I have to be better. And every single year, I prepped, I worked for the upcoming season. I bust my ass for the upcoming season. I made sure not only I was ready physically, but mentally, you know? What do you feel about
what do you feel about failure?
Oh, failures?
That maybe people don't grasp the idea. All right, there's obviously a lot of negative, like, stigma around the word failure. Like, what do you feel about the word failure?
Failures make you, because at the end of the day, failures isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. You know, I seen that quote not too long ago, and people don't realize that you're gonna fail and fuck up in a lot of situations, whether it's relationships, whether if it's, you know, business, whether if it's in, you know, sports or whatever. You're gonna mess up. Learning from your mistakes that you do make, and, you know, whether if you want to get better and change or if you want to stay the same, you know, it's your choice. But getting better from those situations and those experiences make you who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have a choice. We all have a choice if we want to grow or not. Right. You know?
No, that's good. That's good. What was I going to say? I was going to ask you something too.
One more thing I want to say about the failures. But for the people they're out there that think, like, you know, when they do something, they're like, oh fuck, like, you know, I messed up on this and I just maybe they quit, or I messed up on that. It's like, oh well, I got cut from the basketball team. I'm never gonna try to play again, right? Michael Jordan was cut from the basketball team.
Yeah, people forget about that too.
You know what I'm saying? The greatest basketball player to ever touch a basketball,
right?
It was cut from his high school basketball team. Shit happens. You know what I mean? Businesses fail. Elon Musk didn't just go right into it and all of a sudden just blow. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's processes to it. You're gonna run into obstacles. If you don't run into obstacles, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
I think that's why it's so important to have, like, your foundation. Like, foundation also comes from, like, failure. So you solidified that foundation. I forgot that one part. There's, like, this one verse on, like, one of Drake's songs when he was like, a lot of falling out relationships build foundation. And you could look at that too, like situations as well, like in your life, like a lot of times through hopeless moments, hopeless nights, sleepless nights, times of failure, situations where, you know, somebody who you trust betrayed you, and, you know, getting backstabbed, and the way you viewed things at that time, like, without a solid foundation of who you are and where you're trying to be and who you want to become, you know, comes with a lot of, like, preparation for the opportunity to come your way, whether that's business, investments, relationships, job opportunities, career opportunities. Like, it's so important to remain open and, I think to be kind. Like, how important it is for somebody that's going through a tough time, or somebody who has failed, like your father, or like that guy that you were saying with the team. Like, he was able to, instead of being, Debbie Downer and being like, why did you do that? Like, you fucked up. Like, now we lost, blah, blah, blah. The fact that they were able to, like, like, hey, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, it is okay. Like, it happened. It's a mistake. We all make mistakes. Now Now we know it's all about what you do now. It's not about what happened now. The fact that, you get the ability to now think, like, shit, why did I do that? Okay, I did this. So you get to analyze and look back. And I think the best thing you can do is to learn from your mistakes and to not point to nobody else. I think the moment that you try to victimize and you try to push the blame on the world, that's when you lose forever, until you change that. Like, if you don't take accountability for your actions, and it's always, you, never me, then you're literally putting yourself in a hole, because then you're going to end up ruining relationships, whether, partner or friends or teammates, associates, employees, whatever. Who the hell wants to be with somebody? Nobody wants a leader, or nobody wants somebody that doesn't take accountability for their actions, because then you never learn from your mistakes. If you don't learn from your mistakes, there's no growth. One of the best things I ever heard was, like, the day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. And you really learn from your mistakes, other people's mistakes, and a combination of both and more. So you always want to, it's all about learning. Like, we're all learning. You don't want to marry your ideas. You don't want to, be the type of person that, I also always have like a weird thing about people pushing their narratives. I think you should always say your opinion, but you're not really, unless it's like a mathematical equation or formula or something, very, very science, even science based on science. Like, a lot of things change. So it's like, I feel like it's scary to just marry an idea and not be open.
Like stuck in your own ways?
Yeah, stuck in your own ways.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to be able to look at both, before I invest in Apple, why is Apple good and why is Apple bad? You want to, like, look at both ways. You want to look at the benefits of investing in Apple and the downfalls of Apple. Like, you want to make, like, the best judgment. You want to look at the ins and outs, the pros and cons. But the most important thing is, like, you want to make a decision. You don't want to, stay stagnant for too long. You want to look at the ins and outs of, like, each and every one of your decisions and make the best consensus decision. And that's why I think it's very good to get in conversations with opposite point of views, people that can agree with you or disagree, so then you can form your best judgment. So I believe with, open conversations and being vulnerable and being open, you can then make the best decision for yourself. And that's some of the things that I think about when it comes to developing a consensus.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely. But what's one of the things that helps you make those decisions? You think it's more of like your foundation and knowing yourself? What makes it easier for you to make decisions and don't have to look for somebody else to pick, what you invest in, or to pick what you want to do?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes with understanding, and then also looking into, like, the human psychology. Like, there's a lot of good books on, like, human psychology and philosophy and understanding, like, humans are how we are, like, on how we communicate and how our brain works and throughout, evolution. And I think once you build a foundation of how, like, the brain works and how people are, insecurities, a lot of people are projecting themselves and what they would do if they were in your shoes, and you also contribute how you respond. Are you responding in a logical or emotional way? Is it, your prefrontal cortex that's talking? Is it the executive mind? Is it the monkey mind, the emotional mind? Like, I think once you do research of understanding how psychology and how humans work, you're able to then develop a better approach on, understanding your circle of competence of where you should invest your time in. and, you know, making the best decision. At the end of the day, it's for yourself. Make the best decision for you, so then you don't point the fingers at anybody else but yourself.
That's facts. That's facts. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you is, you know, when you're making these, like, you know, big decisions, whether how big or how small, like, does your anxiety act up, like, when you're making these decisions?
I think my anxiety comes from like the unknown, like having, you know, I like to have the answers, or I like to fix things, or be clear, or have an understanding of things. So then when I don't, then I think it's sometimes that's where the anxiety comes from, is like not understanding or not seeing the results. And I feel like that comes with not being patient, like let things flow. And I've worked on that, but sometimes, you know, it takes, you know, what do they say? They say old habits die hard. Like, you just can't, you know, one day I'm gonna think like this, and it's gonna be like this from now on. Like, it takes time to get rid of habits. That's why I believe, like, I have a lot of books based off, you know, rewiring your brain, and, you know, challenging perspectives that you had at one time. Like, one of the best books I have that I'm continuously reading back and forth, chapter 1 is even called, like, Be Proactive, you know, make the best judgment, you know, go on action and try to make, you know, the best of everything and be patient, is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. The guy who brought this book to my attention was one of the professors at jiu-jitsu that I did here in Modesto, called Professor Chewy is his name. But he's a savage. He put me on that book, and it was funny, the way I met him was I went to go to jiu-jitsu to go try it for the first time, and I remember walking up in there like at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, and nobody was there, and it said online that somebody was going to be there, and I go in there, nobody's there. I'm knocking on the door. I'm like, fuck, I guess not. And as soon as I'm about to leave, he opens the door. He's like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, oh, like, I wanted to learn jiu-jitsu. And he wasn't training that day, but we got into our conversation about, like, philosophy and understanding how the human mind works, and what causes people to stop jiu-jitsu, and what gets in people's way emotionally. And, you know, in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of people that are going in and out. It's like regular 9 to 5, you know, correctional officers, fire department, and doctors, like lawyers, a whole bunch of variety of different people that go in jiu-jitsu. And one of the biggest recommendations that he made for me was the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Because we were having a conversation of, like, I'm a type of person that my mind's everywhere. So I'm always continuously trying to learn new things, and just kind of throw it away, put it in the back of my mind, and try to learn something else. And I try to read books at, like, a pretty fast pace, where I just gather what I can gather and then just move on, and I read that book again later. And especially for habits and, you know, anxieties, the best thing to do is to understand your anxiety, understand how you work. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you have to understand who you are, why you are the way you are, why certain beliefs are, you know, instilled in your head, why you can't, you know, communicate, why is it hard for you to express your feelings, maybe because your dad never did it, your dad's dad didn't do it. Like, you want to understand the foundation and the root causes of your habits that maybe are problematic, because then it doesn't give you the outcome that you really want, and it's hard for you to express yourself. So I think a lot of it comes with understanding, and that's why I believe, like, reading books and listening to audio or interviews with certain people, philosophers, and just anybody, like, just being open about their process. You could kind of find yourself with other people's process, because you're like, oh, maybe that works for me, and you try it, and maybe it is, and you find truth, because we're all trying to find truth and peace and love and freedom and stuff like that. But, you know, if you're constantly trying to find a solution, when the real way I feel that you want to approach it is by understanding the problem, instead of just trying to throw a Band-Aid on it, you know, that wound can still get infected if you don't heal it correctly. So that's how I feel with, like, even me, I'm learning with my anxieties every day. I've came, like, far with my insecurities and my anxieties, and my insecurities I found with understanding why I was thinking the way I was thinking, and how I was approaching things, and how I wasn't, you know, understanding myself of how I was, and I was putting too much attention and too much energy towards a person or situation, and I wasn't putting that towards me for my goals and where I wanted to go and who I wanted to be. So it's like understanding, I feel like, is the key for everything. Like, know yourself. If you don't know yourself, then somebody who doesn't know themselves are going to tell you who you are, and that's a dangerous game.
Facts. And part of what you said is we were talking about, like, nobody, our dads didn't teach us how to express ourselves. Our moms didn't teach us how to grandpas didn't teach us how to express ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, back in their time, like, they kept everything bottled up. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's even harder because we're trying to learn how to, still do all these things in the world that we're living in. You know what I mean? So, not having that role model to help you on that journey makes it even that more difficult. It's not easy.
No,
you feel
hell
me?
no.
So, I'm still learning stuff day to day. You're still learning stuff day to day, and eventually, when we have kids and stuff, like, the knowledge that we do know, we can pass down to them, so it's not as hard on them as it was for us to express ourselves and be in that same mindset of vulnerability and that nature.
Yeah, that's what I like about this podcast. Like, we're literally putting something at a certain time and how we think of at that certain time into like a digital form that's going to be uploaded to then help people, and then even help ourselves if we look back and listen to this and we're like, oh yeah, we were, that was our idea, our philosophy at that time and how we approach things. And you're able to have like receipts, like, in a way. Now, you can't hold, nobody for like what they said. Bro, if they were to like look back at my tweets, like, oh my God, horrific. Like, I was at a different state of mind in 2012, bro, and then 2014 and 2016, even fucking last year. So you can't hold nobody to who. That's why I never liked the whole canceling thing. Like what happened to Kevin Hart with that Grammys. I mean, was it the Grammys? I forgot.
I don't know.
Some event where he was hosting.
And hosting their Grammys.
Yeah, and then they were like, basically canceled himself. He's like, I'm not gonna do it if that whole narrative is based off some tweets that he said or something. And I think that's so stupid. That's why. And you realize too is like, it's a very, very small amount of people in the world that are canceling people and not letting you be open and vulnerable to to be able to speak about how you feel. People are scared to like even talk about how they feel, how they view things, because it's gonna rub somebody the wrong way. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, you should be able to express yourself whether you're racist or not. I think it's good to not expose, but it's like, test your ideas and how you feel, your biases and your ignorance. I think it's good to put it out there because they might not know. You'll be surprised, like, some people who are racist don't feel like they're racist.
Yeah. It's like expressing themselves.
Yeah.
Go back to saying expressing themselves. You can.
Yeah.
You can say, what you want.
But you want people to test
but
it.
But hey, good luck with you run into the wrong person.
Yeah.
And he's having a really, really bad day. You might have a really, really bad day.
Yeah, then you see
I'm just gonna give you that warning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like you should be able to express yourself and not be scared. And you shouldn't be. That's why I didn't like the canceling thing. Like, I always feel you should be able to express yourself, because then you could get in a conversation with somebody else that's gonna test your ideas and see how smart. And do you really feel like that, or is it something that your grandpa taught you or your dad taught you when you were young and you just think that's the truth?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people's ideas aren't even their real ideas. It's based off of what you've seen online and media. And even from those people, even your friends, like their friends that are also consumed in rap music or country or whatever genres or media, Instagram influencers, like, people don't even realize a lot of your ideas aren't even your fucking ideas. They're ideas based off somebody else's ideas that you kind of incorporated and now you think it's yours. So it's kind of like, I always like the approach of like, freelance and talk to whole different types of people, play devil's advocate, and then see what's your truth. You want to find your truth, not somebody else's truth.
Facts. That's facts. You can't be yourself if you're sitting there trying to copy and paste somebody else's mentality or how they are. At the end of the day, just be you.
You're gonna keep hitting like a brick wall, and you're always gonna be, not happy. You're not gonna be free.
Facts. What helps you to get back on track when things aren't going the way you think, or maybe when an experience that you've had? What helps you get back on your grind and back on like your journey?
I feel like taking a step back and giving yourself time and like solitude to be by yourself. I think that's one of the most like people don't realize how important it is to be by yourself. Like go out for a movie by yourself, you know, go fishing or go running by yourself or just meditate. Give yourself time to then reanalyze and see how far you've come or what's going on, or if you're in a place of like you're at a corner right now, like you need to be able to give yourself time to think. Don't distract yourself, you know, analyze what's going on, what led you here, where are you trying to go now. And it's not going to be easy. It doesn't take a day, hours. It might take weeks, months, a year to change it up. But just know that you can change it up. Like everything's reversible when it comes to everything really is a choice. I really do believe everything is a choice. And when I say choice, I'm talking about the choice of being happy or not. You can make yourself happy. You can bring yourself out from depression. Is it hard? Yeah. You might have like a chemical imbalance, you know, mentally, which is understandable, but there's a way around it. You can find your way. It is because somebody else that looks just like you did it. So I feel like if you want to sit here and be like, I can't, then keep that shit to yourself, because you're not going to do that shit to me. I don't give a fuck what you got going on. I don't care if you have an underlying issue. I think you can find a way to make it work and find it out.
Most definitely. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for episode 1. I appreciate you guys for tapping in with us, and we'll see y'all next time.
She.